Yeah.
There's your mixed tag team right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, drop for days.
I will say, if anything, where the win for Naomi really doesn't bring anything, but seeing Bayley screw over Sasha just to have Bayley lose it right after that, it's kind of like, you threw me under the bus and you didn't even make it out in one piece. Like, all right, that adds more gas to the fire.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Now, moving on, the next match after that was the triple threat. What are you pointing at?
Just keep talking.
Yeah, while you...
Oh, no, you're good. It was your shirt.
There's just a huge spider behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't mind me. The edibles have kicked
spider
in.
on your head.
Yeah, jeez. He's just, don't mind me. You're looking pretty intently at something that may kill me. All right,
you're
so
good,
the match after that was the triple threat for the Intercontinental. Wow, we got trumpets.
Burn it down.
Hopefully the microphone picked that up, and then people are just like, these guys are crazy. They're laughing at nothing.
The edibles.
No, that was a fart, sir. You know better.
It was the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship.
Thank you, sir. All right, it was Rollins, Miz, current champion, and Balor. I had Balor to win. I felt that after what happened with the Universal title and him coming back from injury and not like, I don't know if it was booking, just not seeing him thrust back into the main event picture or what, but he hasn't really had much until you got Gallows and Anderson kind of grouping up with him again recently. But I felt that the Intercontinental belt would have been good on him. He would have been good for the belt, and vice versa, and that would have kind of kicked things off between him and Rollins, because I'm hoping that after WrestleMania, not that I don't like The Miz, I enjoy what The Miz has become in his evolution, but man just had a baby. I think it's time to take a little vacation. He's earned it. He's been carrying that belt and that section of the roster for a little while.
Ever since he was on SmackDown.
Yeah. So I feel he's earned a little break.
Mm-hmm.
Go spend time with your wife and your first kid, and sit down for a little while, watch the show, and enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had Rollins, and same sentiment. Why I didn't pick the Miz to retain is he's due for a break, and partly get the Intercontinental title off him and let him move up. He hasn't been in the heavyweight championship picture since WrestleMania 27.
It's been longer than that, even.
Well, when was him and Cena? That was 27, wasn't it?
It might have been 20. Well, maybe it was.
Somewhere around. It's been way too long for what he's done, and
It's been long enough.
He's easily one of the top guys on the mic. He's never injured, and people knock him for, his style or how he works. Okay, the man's never injured. The man will do whatever WWE wants him to do. And he put up with, he stuck around this long after putting up with hazing and all of that, from stories and people we won't go into. It doesn't matter. But the man has earned what he's done, and I thoroughly enjoy him. And whether it's I enjoy him because of his stupidness or whatever, but he also helped two guys in Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, who I feel should stick around because I think they would have already been let go by now if they wouldn't have been smart enough to either bring the idea or get paired with The Miz. It's helped them stay relevant, and those two are solid-ass workers as it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's just time for him to, take a break to go be with his baby and then move up for a little bit.
For sure. And I think it can be said about all three of those guys, Miz, Dallas, and Axel, and the fact that they're I don't think anybody would ever say that they're the best at what each of them does, but in the movie that is WWE, they play their part. And that's what you need.
Individually, they may not rise to the top, but as a unit, they're solid as gold.
Exactly.
I picked Miz to retain, actually, because I thought it was the big push was if he wins at WrestleMania, he becomes the winningest in history by term of days. I didn't realize that he still had like 22 days left. So I thought maybe he'd win it at Mania, then lose it the night after on Raw, and then he'd take his break then.
Yeah.
And I thought it was if he was going to lose it, I thought Balor. I didn't think Rollins had a chance because he, like some other people we've talked about, that he doesn't need the title. Balor, I think, since his injury, he would need that to kind of get him back in the picture. Since that injury, it just seems like he's not the same. We haven't, talked about Demon since his Bray Wyatt feud,
right.
Which didn't he win that feud, Balor?
By default, because Balor had the mumps.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Bray got sick,
okay,
so they never could measles or whatever. They couldn't finish it, and they just never went back.
So there's no reason for this Demon Balor to be gone. They just haven't brought it up since then. And I thought maybe, since he was the last entrant, I thought he'd come out as Demon, bring it back. And then, he would. I think he would have won then. But, going back to Miz, that guy is just so entertaining. It was WrestleMania 27. I fact-checked for you. I remember during that main event, I tweeted out, love him or hate him, because back then everyone hated him. That guy created a character when he was a teenager, and he was able to continue this character his entire career. WWE has let him do his thing, and he's just been amazing. Anything they've thrown at him, like you guys were saying, he has excelled in. Damian Sandow, teaming with Jericho, teaming with Miz, or Big Show, throwing... just anybody with him, and he can always excel at his role. He is a great actor, and I respect the hell out of Miz, and I can't wait to see him hold the WWE Championship again.
Yeah.
My thoughts on this one. I had picked the Miz myself, and my reasoning in that too was along the lines of I thought he would lose it shortly after. I just thought he'd retain. Really didn't think with Balor Club and all that. I didn't really think the belt would be on him, and with Seth Rollins. I didn't think the Grand Slam champ thing was something they really wanted to throw on him yet at that point.
Yeah.
And Miz being IC title, I mean, if you watch the Hall of Fame, they I can't remember who said it, but they've said they complimented him how much he has elevated that title since he's held it.
Sure.
Jarrett did, yeah.
Which is awesome.
They showed him during it, and he was like, "Thank you," and he looked shocked that he was even mentioned.
Yeah.
But I mean, he deserves it. He's definitely done it.
Yeah.
This match was an excellent pace for the night, I felt. They used the triple threat format very well. There were plenty of great spots, and the fact that all three men could have easily won at any time. Those near falls at the beginning were just excellent. I mean, I bought every single one of them almost, even that it was the beginning of the match.
Yeah.
I liked that Seth went for the powerbomb on the outside, paying homage back to that spot again. And the finishing was just well executed as well. Rollins winning was a surprise to me, but I'm not let down by it. The title's in safe hands. And really at this point, Miz, like you said, takes time off for the baby, and Rollins having the title, he can go against pretty much start any feud with anybody now, and he's going to excel with it. That's my thoughts on where they're at with it now too.
I was super happy with the fact that each guy got their pops, got their spots in. Rollins' frog splash off the top, while Miz has got the figure four in. That was hot, especially because the cameraman did not focus on the top rope. He focused on the figure four. He's like, "Oh, this is good. Wait a minute!" And there was just a big surprise for at least the home audience. I'm sure everybody in attendance got to see it, but everybody at home's like, "Well, where's Rollins? Oh, he's in the sky."
And that's one thing I hate about being more in the business is when they showed the figure four, I said to my boy, watch for the frog splash, and then boom. Like, we can call these spots, which is unfortunate, but it is cool for, just even as a fan of wrestling and knowing what was going to happen, the way that he does all of his moves are just so cool.
Yeah.
I think I called the same thing, Brandon, while we were watching, but even knowing, I still reacted for it because it was hot. It was a hot thing.
Right.
My only complaint, too many sling blades, because both Finn Balor and Seth Rollins do them. There's just so many of them. And I kind of hope Seth does an open challenge. It's similar to what John Cena did for the U.S. title. I think Roman did it for the U.S. title as well. I really dug those open challenges because it gave you a chance to, that's how Kevin Owens debuted as NXT champion, you know, and it kind of sets stuff up. So it's a good way to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Open challenge, just, you know, I would make a mess in my pants if open challenge and Andrade comes out.
Yeah.
The match that they could have,
Oh,
that
God.
would be so good.
Yeah.
Don't, especially with Zelina.
Oh, she's so good.
She's so good. I mean, she's a former worker. She may or may not still be with Austin Aries, but she just adds that very Lita when she was with S.A. Rios. You know, you never knew where she was coming from because you know she can do some stuff. So it just adds that little bit more to the match, and she's just really, really good at her job.
Yeah, she's the
phenomenal.
ace in the hole.
Yeah.
If the guy she's managing or whoever she's managing at the time cannot do or can't close the job by themselves.
Yeah.
Which is what you want as a manager.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the next match after that. The match after that was the SmackDown Women's Championship between Charlotte Flair, the current champion, and Asuka. Now, I feel that a lot of people were on the fence with this one. They didn't know if Asuka's streak should end there, or if Charlotte should continue this whole like carrying the belt and squash the streak and I don't know, be rewarded, I guess, killing a streak and be rewarded for the fact that she is kicking ass as the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Oh no, for sure. I think I had Asuka for this one, just for the simple fact that I didn't feel Charlotte needed that feather in her cap.
Yeah.
You know, Charlotte proven herself. What was it, all 2016 into 17 with all the firsts that she was a part of.
Yeah.
I really felt that, you know, they're putting over. Asuka was at 900 and some days or whatever it was without being pinned or submitted in singles competition through her NXT days and her days on the main roster. I really thought it was her time.
Yeah.
I was genuinely shocked that Charlotte took this one.
Yeah.
I really felt it was Asuka's time, but on the flip side, they may not want to remove Asuka from what they've considered their flagship show for so many years.
Yeah.
And move her to SmackDown. So maybe we get Asuka, you know, Jax, which we'll talk about later, you know, rematch for. They had some decent stuff in NXT
For sure.
and they played the monstrous heel and quick agile little person, you know, really well. So maybe we'll see that, and that's where she gets her due.
Yeah.
But you know, I just kind of felt Charlotte didn't need that feather in her cap. You could have saved it for maybe a Nia. Maybe Nia was the one at SummerSlam or something like that. Just someone who needed that feather in their cap more than Charlotte did.
For sure.
Yeah, some great points there, and that's a very good thought about how they don't want to take her away from Raw, because there's still a lot of women she could feud with in Raw. You might be able to see Asuka and Alexa now have a great, true matches, and not just, you know, Alexa focusing on ending the streak and Asuka, you know, focusing on getting the title. They could have some great matches now. Charlotte, as far as getting that feather in her cap, I think with the failure of ending Goldberg's streak the way they did, I don't think they wanted another bad, you know, it sounds good on paper. Like, you know, I was worried Asuka wins and then Carmella cashed in. I think that would be a failure of ending the streak. Now, granted, it would get Carmella a hell of a lot of heat. I'm just not a fan of Carmella. I know a lot of people have, you know, gone up on her, but I just don't think that there was any other person that should have ended the streak other than Charlotte. You know, being of the lineage she is, you know, Ric Flair, a god among men, and Charlotte is going to be up there in the same threshold and a future Hall of Famer. As far as what's to come for Charlotte now, I don't know who is left on SmackDown. I mean, you could have another back to Natty, Naomi maybe now, but, you know, with two faces, it's just not as entertaining, I think, when there's two faces, you know. It's good to have someone chasing another or a reason for the fight other than just, hey, I respect you, buddy. or whatever.
But I think that's a perfect.
What you do, so?
But that's a perfect opportunity for SmackDown to bring up somebody from NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like you just said,